Best soybean farming practices for maximum farm income, Session 6. That is harvest optimization and post-harvest quality. Understanding harvest timing and losses. Soybean harvests represent the culmination of the entire season's effort. Yet poor harvests and poor harvest timing and combined operation cause between 5 to 15% yield losses that eliminate profits after months of investment and work, making harvest optimization through proper timing, equipment setup, and careful operation critical for capturing maximum production. Optimal harvest timing balances maximizing seed maturity and dry down against minimizing field losses from shattering, weather damage, and logging. Soybeans reach psychological maturity, that is maximum dry weight, at R8 stage when 95% of the pods are brown and seeds have reached maximum size, typically occurring at 35 to 45% moisture. But field harvests must wait until moisture drops to between 13 and 15% for safe storage, avoiding expensive artificial drying. This natural dry down typically requires 7 to 14 days after physiological maturity, depending on weather, creating harvest window beginning when moisture reaches between 13 to 15% and extending until field losses from shattering, lodging, or weather damage becomes excessive. Harvesting too wet, that is greater than moisture of greater than 15% requires artificial drying. That is adding between 0.15 to $0.3 per bushel costs and may cause seed damage from excessive drying temperature, while delaying harvest until between 10 to 15% moisture increases shattering losses to between 3 to 8% from overdrying pods that shatter easily. Monitor moisture daily once beans approach maturity using handheld moisture meters. Begin harvests when moisture reaches between 13 to 15% in earliest maturing fields, and harvest systematically, moving from earliest to latest maturity, minimizing time each field spends at optimal moisture. Fields left standing too long after reaching 13% moisture accumulate shattering losses of between 0.5 to 1.0 bushel per hectare per day. During dry, windy conditions, timing is money. Implementing optimal harvest practices. Combine setup critically affect harvest losses. Adjust combine settings specifically for soybeans, which are more fragile than corn or wheat. Set cylinder rotor speed at between 300 to 450 rpm. For conventional combines, or between 400 to 550 rpm for rotary combines, just fast enough to shell beans without cracking. Set concave clearance at between 0.5 to 0.75 inch, maintaining adequate threshing without seed damage. Adjust fan speed, removing chaff and pod material without blowing beans out of the back, typically lower than small grain settings, and set chaffer and sieve openings, allowing beans through while removing debris, typically wider than small grain settings. Improper settings cause three types of losses: gathering losses from header not cutting low enough, or beans bouncing off header. Threshing losses from unthreshed pods in straw, and then separating losses from beans blown out the back through the sieves. Operate combines properly, minimizing losses. Cut as low as practical, or typically between 3 to 4 inches above ground, capturing lowest pods without picking up soil and rocks. Maintain ground speed at between 3 to 4 mph, balancing productivity with gentle seed handling. Excessive speed causes head losses and seed damage. Adjust header based on conditions. Aggressive real speed is down in down or lodged beans. Gentle real speed is standing beans, and monitor losses regularly through harvest. The simple practice of stopping periodically to check losses behind the combine, that is examining straw for unthreshed pods, ground for loose beans, and shaken materials from sheaves for whole beans. Identifies problems, allowing immediate adjustment. Many farmers discover they are leaving 3 to 4 bushels per acre on the ground simply from improper settings. Post-harvest handling preserves quality. Clean soybeans before storage, removing foreign materials and split beans, which deteriorate rapidly. Dry if necessary to 13% moisture or below for long-term storage. Store in clean dry bins with adequate aeration, preventing moisture and temperature gradients. Monitor monthly checking for moisture increases or heating indicating problems. And market strategically, selling during high price periods rather than dumping at harvest lows. Proper storage, maintaining quality for between 8 to 12 months, allow marketing flexibility, capturing seasonal price improvements, averaging between 0.5 to 5 to 1.5 dollars per bushel above harvest prices. This marketing gain often exceeds the entire year's production profit from growing the beans. Next, we are going to look at the summary of best soybean farming practices for maximum farm income. So this is the last session. Click the link below this video and watch this summary. It is a starting point for your next prosperity of soybean production.